Um, I'll answer some questions, and I got a lot to game plan for here. So, as you guys know, uh, um, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go whenever you
Brian,
guys are.
can you blitz this guy, or is it a recipe for disaster?
Um, well, I would say that between obviously Patrick Mahomes and Kelce, and really at the forefront of it is Andy Reid. They've got a very dynamic offense. Um, Run game, pass game, play action, RPOs. It's very diverse. They do a great job, really, in all areas. They're very intentional about how they go about offensive football. It's constructed in a way that is, honestly, it's fun to watch. I would say, and hard to defend. To answer your question, I think they've got answers for pretty much, you know, uh, anything that someone would do defensively. I think it's important to mix things. Yeah, pressure. I think you can. I think you have to. But you've got to mix your pressures with your just regular, four-man rush coverages, some man, some zone. Because if you just do one thing, like any one thing you do, there's an answer for it. So the best bet is just to mix things against a group like this. But this quarterback is as dynamic a player as we have in our league. Uh, it would certainly be a big challenge for us, and but we're excited to get out there Sunday, in front of our home crowd, and um, a challenge like this. I mean, this is why we coach, why we play.
With Kelce, the way he runs a route and then freelances and does something completely different. Like, what are the keys to defending that? And like, how do you defend a guy like that?
Again, having coached against this group in the past, Kelsey's certainly one of the best tight ends I would say to probably ever play. Um, Route running, combat catcher. So you can have him covered, but he'll go up and get it. One hand, back shoulder. Obviously, he and Mahomes have a great rapport. So yeah, there is a little bit of, if somebody has him leveraged out, he's going to stop the route and, go somewhere else where he can get open and find the open spaces. And they got such a great rapport. I think Mahomes is really building out with all these receivers. It's clearly something that they go through, something that they practice, things that they talk about. And again, like I said, they do a great job, and it's again thoughtfully constructed and built in a way that allows them the autonomy, the latitude to do those things. You know, and again, for us, great challenge. We're gonna have to mix things. We're gonna have to pressure. We're gonna have to cover them. We're gonna have to just play total team football with everybody just handling their responsibility. If you got to set the edge, set the edge. If you got to keep outside leverage, keep outside leverage. If you've got to penetrate a gap, get in that gap. Things like that. That's really the message. I'm sure every team every week gives this group, and that's the message we're giving our guys as well.
Marcus Davenport coming back. How did you see him impact the game on Sunday?
I thought he played well. I thought he was disruptive. I thought he, gave us some a bolt of energy. He brings juice. He brings energy. He brings a play style that is physical. So we saw that, and we needed it, and we're going to need everybody against this group for sure. He'll be part of that.
Brad, what did you think of the impact that Harrison was able to have on that game?
I thought Harrison played well, really well. I think his impact it goes a lot further than the statistics. Just his leadership and his just ability to let me articulate this correctly, because it's his impact on our team is much greater than any stat. But he's a good ball player as well, a very good ball player. and he's a leader on our team. He's a leader, in the meetings, in the walkthrough, in the practices, and as he goes, we go. And we'll continue to try to put him in positions to, do the things he does well, just like we do with all our players. But he has a great impact on our team.
Ryan, those 3 times that you faced Mahomes, what would you say you've learned most maybe about in regard to how you like to blitz and what worked and can that be helpful whenever it's a different team, different personnel?
You're all about the blitz game, huh?
Yeah.
Like it's everyone's about the blitz.
81% of my questions will be about the blitz.
I'm sure 81% has something to do with something else. I'm not necessarily sure what that is, but to answer your question, I think this group, like I said, they're thoughtfully and intentionally, put things in place on first, second, third down, red zone, 2-minute, to put their players in great position. They've got answers for everything, to include the blitz. There's a lot of things that you've got to do, or we've got to do as a defense, to try to limit this group. And even when you do that, in my experience, I think the thing for Coach Reed that for me I just have a great respect for is his ability to adjust in game. So if you are doing something well, he's working to find the answers. And it's probably something he's seen over the course of his career because he's seen just about everything. So he imparts that wisdom to their group. So he's seen every blitz. I think, everyone knows that. He's seen every coverage. So it's not just about the blitz game. So he's seen every blitz, every coverage, every 3-man rush, every 4-man rush, every 5-man rush, every 6 or 7-man blitz. And they've got answers for him. I think, our job is just to, mix it and, try to limit, obviously they're best players. I think you try to do that on a weekly basis. And, just try to play good team football. At the end of the day, it has nothing to do with really a call or a blitz. It's about our fundamentals, our technique, our leverage. It's really never about the call. It's about our execution of that call. Same thing on their side. And they do a great job of it. And it's a big challenge for us. And, we're working, tirelessly to put ourselves in good position and then execute.
How do you, go ahead, Lauren.
I know he's not the focal point of the offense for obvious reasons, but I guess how have you seen McKinnon fit into their scheme and how does he add just another weapon that you have to be aware of?
Yeah, another very good player, good in space, catches the ball well, good runner. Just they've got a slew of guys who, we have to know who they are. We've got to know their skill sets, and they're all skilled, all of them. Whether it's Tony or Sky Moore or McKinnon or Edwards-Helaire, Pacheco, they've got a very good skill group. I think, when you think of the Chiefs, you think of Mahomes and Kelce, and there's this other group of guys who are very, very skilled. And if you don't know about them, they're going to beat you. So obviously McKinnon's part of that. And again, like I said, they do a very good job, and they put those players in position to do the things they do well. They try to put them in position to do those things, and we've got to handle all of them because if you take away or try to take away one, that's part of the thoughtful construction of the offense. Is if you're taking something away, then you're giving something up. And this quarterback and obviously this coordinator, to include Matt Nagy, is very good. Is very good also. And Coach Reed, obviously, they understand that, and they tell those guys, hey man, you're going to be the guy who's got the one-on-one. You're going to be the guy who's singled up, or this is the space you got to be in, because that's the void in the defense. And that's the back and forth chess game.
Ryan, how do you deal with, like, it's 3rd and 25, you do everything perfect, and you have him in your grasp, and he disappears and gets 25 yards. How
Yeah.
do you like guard him beating you with his legs?
I mean, you talk at length about his scramble ability, but those plays are going to happen. I mean, when you're playing a great player, an MVP caliber player, that player's probably going to make some plays. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. You understand that, and oftentimes, I tell our players this, man. Sometimes you got to tip your cap, and that's all right. We just got to move on to the next play. That's really what it's about. They got a good offense. They got a good defense. They got a great team. Obviously, they're the defending champions. So they're going to make a few plays. We understand that. We're going to do everything we can so that in those situations, we win those those particular situations. But when they hit a play, we just move on to the next one. And that's really the mindset we've got to take. That's the mindset I personally take. But you watch the film. I mean, there's things that guys probably don't see that Mahomes does that's jaw dropping. I would say, no look throws that are incompletions that probably nobody's really watching that I'm looking at going, wow, how about that? If he would have looked at him, he probably would have completed it. You know what I mean? Like it's some of those things. But he's got those capabilities, and it's fun to watch, and hard to defend, and it's a great challenge, and we're excited about that challenge because that's what we're here for, and looking forward to it. But yeah, they do. Mahomes is one of the best, if not the best player in our league, and it's exciting to get out there and play against him. But yeah, there's times we got to tip the cap.
Brian, you talked about trying to form an identity and kind of letting that happen organically with the players. I guess, how have you seen that kind of come together as your identity as a defense, and how long does that tend to take?
I think identity is always something that's you're always working on and working towards, and we're still in that process early in the year. But our guys, I think we play hard. I think we enjoy playing with one another. We've had some instances where we've played, some solid football and some others where we haven't. Those are kind of the ebbs and flows of the first portion of the season. But we're starting to find out the things that we do well, things we don't do well, our style of play week to week, our ability to adjust, first quarter, second quarter, based on how they're playing us. What we can do, what we can't do, and we're still kind of building our identity. I feel like I understand what we do better now than I did, 4 weeks ago, and we'll just continue to try to improve on a daily basis.
Brian, Cam has played 282 snaps of a possible 283. The next closest is Harry at 277. First, curious why that is, and second, and more importantly, what does it say about a guy, or what does it take for a guy to earn that level of trust from you and the coaching staff?
Beasley's done a great job. I think just from a leadership standpoint, from a communication standpoint, from a tackling standpoint, he's done a lot of good things. Honestly, to answer your question, I think it might be just coincidence. I think we try to get everybody out, and flow of the game has something to do with that. Situations within a game have some things to do with that. But over a 17-game season, once we went to 17 games, you realize that through the attrition is part of that, and you try to get everybody out as much as you can. 4 or 5 plays, over the course of a whole season, could end up being a game. But he's been in there because for whatever reason, the game dictated it that way. Same thing with Harry. Those few plays we had him out. I think you always want, I wish he was in, but I think it really is just coincidence. To be completely honest with you, I wish I had a better answer for you, but really just coincidence.
Last couple.
I know you had one.
Actually, it was very much, you answered it when you answered Mark's question.
Okay.
About having everything lined up just right and then start to play.
That's football, really. That happens both ways, really, in all three phases. But just got a big part of it is moving on, and not letting that knowing that we had an opportunity and not letting that be the determining factor in the outcome.
Almost a reinforcement of what you're doing then, if you're like, oh, that was a really great call.
It doesn't feel like that in the moment. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, it doesn't feel like that in the moment. But you have peace, and when that happens, you have peace that you try to put guys in the right positions, and that's the game. And that's the beauty of the game in a lot of ways is. You can do a lot of things right and it still doesn't work out. You can do a lot of things wrong and it does work out. So that's what you love about it. That's what I love about it. That's why I'm so passionate about the game. That's why we're all so passionate about the game. That's why there's so many fans in the stadium and why so many people watch. And I just feel so fortunate to be a part of it. So, and this week is certainly up there as far as games that I'm excited to be a part of. So very, very appreciative and fortunate.
Could you feel Salah's pain on Sunday night when that penalty? Robert Saleh when he went down.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen a head coach that beside himself and to where he ran.
Emotions get high. And those are tough calls, late in games, and but that's how it goes. I'm sure he's been on the other side of similar situations, but when you invest so much time, so much energy, so much, and you sacrifice so much time from people you care about, for to get an outcome, and things are you do all the right things, and you catch a bad break, it's tough, but that's the game, and we all love it, so good. Thank you, guys.